Well, hello, friends. This is the Get Real with Meredith show, and I am your host, Meredith. So it took me a minute to get down here because I haven't done lives in a while. I used to do them all the time on Facebook, but this is my first time doing it on YouTube, and I know we'll get the ins and outs of it. And of course, the guys are cutting the grass while I'm doing this, and my dog was just barking. So bear with me if you hear some noises. I am super excited to be here. I was not supposed to release this today. I was not going to do a message on Halloween, except say a few things on social media, but the Lord really prompted me in the things that He's teaching me that there are things that people need to know. My focus is women, is Christian women. It doesn't matter if you are just thinking about you're seeking the Lord and you're a baby, or you've been following the Lord for years. It's for women who want the Lord in your life, who are Christians, and those that I know there's a lot of people getting saved today. So, in a lot of cases, it's for those of you that just want to be done with all the junk, want to be focused on the Lord. Just the craziness of the world has pointed you toward the Lord. So I just pray that any of you that are stuck in any kind of witchcraft, demonic stuff, anything that keeps you from the Lord. I mean, I talk a lot about addictions, but anything that may be keeping you from the Lord, I just pray that this podcast gives you revelation, gives you a desire to go deeper into the Word, to build a relationship with the Lord that is more firm, more set on His solid foundation than mixing, things of the world, the things of the supernatural that I'll talk about. Lord, I just pray that you give them fresh eyes, clear ears, fresh hearts to just receive your word, and to just hear my experience too of how they can overcome these things that are connected to Halloween, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. So, um, I'm going to share with you some stuff about Halloween. First, I'm going to talk to you about different topics. And I am going to go as deep with you as I have learned recently from the Lord. I don't know everything. It's just only recent, last few years, that the Lord has really been revealing things to me that the spiritual realm is a little crazy. And so I'm going to share some scriptures, share some things about, like I said, witches. And yes, I'm going to mention wicked and demon hunters, but also just in general, like what happens on Halloween night. We're going way beyond just, having some candy to go and send your kids out to celebrate Halloween. I'm going to touch on that for you moms. But my podcast really speaks to multiple generations. I know some of you are in college, some of you are in your 20s. You're all just navigating life. So I hope that this kind of speaks to you, whatever season you're in. And some of you that have kids, it's going to be different, but you'll hear me. So some of you for years, like me, didn't even think of not practicing it. I just kind of knew to practice it because that's just what I was raised with. And you'll see when I tell you more what that looks like, but how I came to that. So I'll tell you more about that at the end. But this stuff I want to tell you doesn't have to scare you, because if you have the Lord, if you're seeking the Lord, if you have the mind of Christ, this stuff should not scare you. You just want to be aware. And again, it's been a process for me. This is going to be a process for you. This isn't about you listening to my podcast and, oh, okay, I got it. No, you're going to have to get in the secret place with the Lord and have Him reveal things to you. So, one little side note before I get started. I know there are some of you that may be practicing witchcraft, or you're dabbling in, oh, I'm a Christian, but I practice witchcraft. Hey, I know you're here, but number one, you don't scare me. It's dark, it's demonic. I want nothing to do with it. And if you're in that space, I need you to know I have God on my side. And for anybody who's listening, for my listeners, just say, get behind me, Satan, while I listen to this, because I'm betting that when you're listening to this right now, whenever that is, the enemy is going to try really hard to keep you from listening to it. So, and I know that those of you that don't get this, there's going to be some of you that go, oh, okay, the demonic is bad. But here's what I know from 2 Corinthians 4:4. The God of this age has blinded the minds of unbelievers so that they cannot see the light of the gospel that displays the glory of Christ, who is the image of God. I do not expect you to see this if you are an unbeliever. Your eyes are blinded. You don't see it. This is a message for believers. Like I say, it's a warning word. It's a word of clarity to help you break off your connection to anything involved with witchcraft or Halloween or whatever. So I'm going to talk about a few things. Number one, the supernatural. This was when I didn't even have all my original notes, and the Lord put it on my heart this morning. If you don't know, the supernatural is everything you don't see. It's like everything that is not natural. Webster defines it as of or relating to an order of existence beyond the visible, observable universe, especially of or relating to God or a god, demigod, spirit, or devil. So their definition shows you that the natural includes the light and the dark. It includes both God, who's the name above all names, and angels, but it also includes the much lesser things that are not of God. Little gods, demons, spirits that are not of God. So when you think you're connecting to a spirit, not God. So there are women in the next generation who are seeking spirituality, and the enemy is distracting them with a false spirituality. I was here, the whole spiritual, not religious. I am spirit. I will say, if someone says to me, "Oh, you're super religious," I'm going to say, "No, I'm spiritual, not religious," but not in the way you think. I'm not seeking mediums. I'm not reading tarot cards. I am seeking the one true God. It is the Spirit of God who fills my life. It's the Spirit of God who leads my life. So there's a difference between the Spirit of God and the spiritual things of the world. Now, here's the interesting. You're going to see as I unveil some of this to you, how Satan just pretends he's this angel of light. 2 Corinthians 11:14 says, Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. So I want you to keep that in your mind. Ephesians 6:12, which is part of the entire armor of God passage, it says, for our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. It's kind of what I was just talking about. Not all spiritual forces are good, and there are too many people who think that if you're connecting to the spirit world, or if you're spiritual, then that's good. Not so much. You have to be aware of it. 1 Peter 5:8. Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. If you don't know your enemy's around the corner, he knows every weakness. He knows every person that makes you crazy. He knows every habit that you have. He knows everything to take you out. And it's up to you to be vigilant. You got to know the things you struggle with and give them to the Lord, so you can learn how to deal with them. So Ephesians 6:11 says, put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against whose schemes? The devil's schemes. You need to put on the full armor of God. Why? Because he is scheming against you. He is plotting against you. He does not want you to follow the Lord. He doesn't want you to have a relationship with God. He wants none of it. He wants you to be dabbling things like witchcraft because he doesn't want you to be seeking the Lord. I just want you to see that. And even if you are like, we are protected. If as a believer, you are protected. I just posted an image of Jesus standing in front of a child with arrows pointing at him, and Jesus is protecting. But you still need to be aware. So, because you may not even know that you're participating in. So, you got to let him in. You got to not let him in. You got to close every door, because there are doors. There are, some people say, portals where you let the enemy in. So you have to learn to discern the spirit. 1 John 4, dear friends, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. Really important, verse 2. This is how you recognize the Spirit of God. Listen to me, believers. Every spirit that acknowledges that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is from God, but every spirit that does not acknowledge Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the Antichrist, which you have heard is coming and even now is already in the world. I think we've all heard people talking about the Antichrist lately. So that brings me to, when I read that, I immediately think of people that I used to follow, like when I was doing self help, new age stuff, spiritual gurus who I would go see speak. I once saw one live, and the Lord just ripped, like he just moved the wool from my eyes. I was like, oh, now I get it, because I was newly sober. I was reading self-help books. I read a book about what was it called? Following Your North Star, I think it was, and I was like, oh yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. I wanted to be, a life coach. But then, and I was excited, I was encouraged. It's helped me a lot in how I help other people. But as I grew in my faith, I saw, how it was a lot about, self and the universe and all those hoity-toity words that people use that are not God. And I went and saw one of these women live, actually at the University of Texas, because I wanted to see if she was real, and I showed up, and first of all, you're talking about Jesus, like how he was just a prophet or something. I'm like, okay. And I was like a baby new believer at that point. Like I grew up Catholic, but I was a new believer at that point, and I was like, this seems wrong. And then this guy, she had like a traumatic story, and this guy in the front row shared a very similar story, and he goes, I just want to know how you overcame it. And she's like, I don't share that. I only share the way I help you around it. And I'm like, oh. And it was like, wow, this just shows you that spiritual gurus are not the answer. They are not of God. So I tell you that because if you were kind of checking out New Age spirituality or you're still dabbling in it, I would say try to remove yourself from it, because it is not God. It is its own religion. It is its own spirituality. New Age is not God. If you're studying angel numbers, chakras, tarot cards, seeking mediums, all that ain't God. So it's all about self. A thing you've got to be careful about, and only God can heal you. There are books that can help you understand yourself. When I was early recovery, I was learning how to figure out who I was and learning where I screwed up and where I had to do better because I'd messed up so much. Um, but I had to first surrender my life to Christ. Mark 8:34 says, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me." What is New Age all about? You're your own goddess. Seek the universe. All this stuff, again, not God. And then people wonder why it doesn't fill them because it's not supposed to. Let me mention Gen Z because I'm really passionate about Gen Z. I think it's very interesting. We are seeing this kind of revival with Gen Z happening. More young people are wanting to read the Bible. You go on TikTok, you can see so many young people like, I just want to meet Jesus. And a lot of it has happened since Charlie Kirk passed. I think it wasn't even about him. It was because, here he was sharing scripture and people saw him pass away, get assassinated in front of them. And it's like, whoa, where is God? So we can see, though, you have all these people seeking the Lord, but you can see how Satan is working. I have not read the full book yet. I listened to some of it, but Pagan Threat by Lucas Miles, I know, talks a lot, and I will probably add it later, but he talks in my notes. He talks a lot about, in the beginning, about how Gen Z women are like the target of this pagan stuff. And I was like, that's exactly it. There is an article I found on the Gospel Coalition website called "As Gen Z Turns to the Occult, How Should We Respond?" And they referenced the survey of 13 to 25-year-olds conducted by Springtide Research Institute. They found that more than half of that age group practices tarot cards or fortune telling, with 17% of those doing so daily and another quarter practicing once a week. What does that tell you? Like, think about, people go to church once a week. Like, people are seeking these things to be spiritual. And this shows me that how the enemy is trying to steer them. They're wanting to be more spiritual and less religious, but the enemy's like, oh, why don't you do the lesser thing? What's the big deal? Because people go, oh, it's no big deal. It's just no fun. And this is where I get into it. Like, witches are no big deal. It's no. If you are a Christian and you want to be a follower of Jesus, you have got to cut it off. It's a big deal because you are opening the door of your soul to the enemy. The enemy wants to come in and take over. Remember this, John 10:10. It's no joke. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. And Jesus says in the second part of that, what does he say? I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. Two doors. You going to pick the one that steals your life, or are you going to pick Jesus? If you read Revelation 3:20, it says, Here I am. This is Jesus. I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and eat with that person and they with me. Which one seems more loving? And the reason I bring up all this occult stuff is because a lot of it is tied to Halloween. Halloween is not just about, oh, should I dress my kids up or not? You're participating. There is like a whole lot of darkness going on that night. I'm going to be praying all night that night. Let's just say that. Let's just talk about witches and what they do on that night. If you don't know, first of all, there was a witch walk in my town the other week, last weekend. And I was like, are you kidding me with this? Are you kidding me? Plain sight. And then I saw it's happening in towns all over the country. I'm like, okay, this is real. Let's just let it be out there and let's just let it be fun. Okay, then they're going to go do spells. You want them to be doing spells on you? I don't know all of this. So don't think that like I'm your source, but I am learning and I want to help you while I'm learning. So, witchcraft. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, witchcraft is a term usually applied to harm brought upon others through the use of supernatural or occult powers. The person engaging in witchcraft is called a witch, while the act of causing harm may be termed cursing, hexing, bewitchment, or maleficium. It makes me think of Maleficent. Have you ever heard of someone cursing someone? Yeah, maybe you did with the whole thing with Charlie Kirk. Did you hear about the lady? There was an Etsy witch. Somebody bought this Etsy witch to put a curse on him. And I saw something like Erica Kirk totally like saw it and she was like, okay. And it was like this Jezebel witch. And, she knew what it was about and she prayed against it. Here's what's interesting. I found this article in the Independent. It says, someone claiming to be one of the witches the author contacted, known as Priestess Lilin, told the Daily Mail, we regret and distress experienced. What we do is done based on an impartial perspective and at a professional level. We respect the widow's feelings and address her concerns. Our spells are spiritual in nature, and we do not perform actions that are intended to cause physical harm. We do not celebrate the loss of life. There she is, acting like an angel of light. The enemy is working through her. Oh, we're spiritual, so that makes us good. No, you're demonic. Lesser spiritual dark world. What do witches do on Halloween? They celebrate something called, no, I'm not going to pronounce this right, Samhain, which is a pagan holiday that honors ancestors and spirits from which modern day Halloween is thought to be evolved. I think it might be Irish or Celtic. So they channel these spirits because these witches believe that the veil between the natural and the supernatural is thinner on Halloween. So what do? They start to try to connect to the spirits. What are the things they do? They seem like they're all innocent. I have seen more television shows like that just go right into it. Like, hey, let's have a ritual. Like, where did this come from? Why is this so normal in our society? Anyway, they play Ouija boards. They seek psychics and mediums, which the Bible explicitly tells us to avoid. They read astrology. I used to struggle with that. Thank God the Lord delivered me from it. They practice magic in all forms, and they do it all in the name of honoring the dead. This article I read on Refinery 29, it says, our spells are spiritual in nature, and we do not perform, same lady, Priestess Linen, and we do not perform actions that are intended to cause physical harm. We do not celebrate the loss of life. Again, Satan makes himself as an angel of light. Hey, we're spiritual. We're just celebrating death. If you're celebrating death and practicing the occult, you're messing with the demonic realm. You're messing. You're trying. Are you trying to hurt your soul? Because that's what you're doing. You don't want to be in this place, nor do you want to expose it to your children. That brings me to Wicked. Yes, I know there are many of you that love that movie that think it's innocent. It is not. And you will not get me to watch it. I will not watch it. It will not happen. You believe what you want to believe. I know it's popular. I know people love it because it teaches good and evil, which is fine, but this is way bigger than just good and evil. This is spiritual darkness. This is true evil. You got to steer clear. just the fact, I went to go look up because I heard the title of the second one that's, wicked for good. And like, whoo, that ain't for good. It's literally, again, Satan masking himself as an angel of light. Wicked, which is for good. And when are they releasing it? The week before Thanksgiving, just in time for the holidays. There's nothing about wicked that is for good. It is evil, and it's everywhere. If you see things that are pushed everywhere, you need to be very careful. If this thing is being pushed all over society, I need to see what's in this, and I need to see what it's about, because I need to protect my kids. Cereal boxes, toddler clothing. I see it everywhere. I'm walking with Ellie through a store. I see it, and I'm like, nope, nope, nope. Steer clear. It is not about you being the cool parent or your kids being the cool kid in the class because they have wicked clothes on. Don't take them to see it. Maybe you already did. I highly recommend informing your kids. I will tell you more about how I've tried to inform Ellie about these kinds of things. You have free will. I'm not going to stop you from seeing it, but you are opening a door through your eyes and your ears to the demonic. And if your kid starts having bad dreams and all those things, you bet it. You can bet that that is a part of it. And I don't care how popular it is. It is not good, innocent fun. You can choose to believe me or not. Witches are not imaginary. They are real and they're doing weird stuff. Next thing on witches. I've got two more things on witches. One, witch talk. Know about it? Apparently it's gotten 30 billion views. It's a thing on TikTok where witches just go and do witchcraft, making it popular. You don't want your kids on there. You want to prepare them for what's out there. Next one, Wicca. Oh yeah, it's real. Scary stuff. I'm just learning about this one, so I can't dive too much in this, but I even had somebody tell me recently that there are Wiccans who are people that are in Wicca that are trying to put it in homeschool curriculums. And I'm like, okay, probably not all of them, but they're trying to create homeschool curriculum so you can bring it home. Hello, enemy. So there's this website called Wicca Living. And if you go to it, you see they call Wicca a fascinating spiritual path and earth-centered religion with roots in the shamanic. So yes, it's a religion. As Wiccans, listen to this, honor the life-giving and life-sustaining powers of nature through ritual worship and a commitment to living in balance with the earth. I mean, there's goddesses, there's all that. None of that is God. It's all lesser spiritual realm. The nature thing is what kind of blew me away with that. Well, it didn't blow me away, but again, Satan has blinded the minds of unbelievers. Who doesn't love nature? But if you look at all the stuff around Mother Earth, and we have to protect Mother Earth, and I'm seeking Mother Earth, I'm starting to see how the enemy is like, hey, no, it's about Earth, not God. It's not about a creator. It's about the creator. People are making nature a God. Like, I love nature. I go to nature to worship my all-powerful and mighty God who created nature. Nature isn't the ultimate power. Nature didn't create itself. God created it. Job 12, 7 through 10 says, but ask the animals and they will teach you, or the birds in the sky and they will teach you, or speak to the earth and it will teach you, or let the fish in the sea inform you. Which of all these does not know that the hand of the Lord has done this? In his hand is the life of every creature and the breath of all mankind. In his hand is every creature of mankind because he is God. There are no goddesses. Well, there are, but they're not God. If you want to go further into this, I did watch a few. I'll put them on my notes or in my blog, but there are a few women that I have, seen, like Jenny Weaver, who is a teacher. She's got, some people say that she's her own god or something, which I completely disagree with. But she wrote a book about coming out of witchcraft, and I just watched a podcast with her the other day. It was great because it helped inform me about kind of just how messed up it is. But that's someone that can help you see what this witchcraft stuff is. I'll put her stuff in my blog. That brings me to demons. Demons. Oh, I'm not even really going to go deep in this because I am not that well versed in this. But let me tell you, I have begun to believe in them more because the further I get in my relationship with God, the more deeper in my spirituality I get, the more I can kind of see people's demons. And I feel like we live in a time right now where you can see them so clearly. It's not even funny. You can go anywhere and just like see them on people. It's crazy. Um, so there's a lot to this, but there's two things I want to cover, and they're mainly in that realm of what you're watching. What are you letting your eyes see? What are you letting your kids' eyes see? If you're watching horror movies and going to haunted houses, you're giving access to the demonic. You are opening doorways and windows. This is why, even when I see a picture on a television app of something with demons or scariness, especially around Halloween, I won't even let my soul see it. The Spirit of God has protected my heart, that I just know that it is sick and demonic. And what's scary is some of you just go to that or let your kids go to that without even batting an eye. You need to bat an eye. The scare factor may be fun, but it's not fun. Not good. Moms, second part of this, demon hunters. I've brought this up a few times. Again, you're opening the door to demonic. Don't play the music. I know it's trendy. I saw that the main singer just got some huge record deal. Shocker. Don't watch it. Don't watch it with them because you look cool. And for the love of God, please don't buy those toys that are showing up all over my Instagram. All the Demon Hunters figurines. Do not let be in your house. I don't care if you want to be the cool mom. Don't do it. Don't do it. Please do not let these things in your house. Do not let it be on your television. Don't spend a night watching them all. Don't play the soundtrack everywhere you go. Be aware. Be aware. Don't let a show on television let your kids be taught about demons. You need to do that. You need to be deeper in your relationship with God to learn how to show them what it really means. This is not fun. It's early doctrination. And I've seen it happen all over with the Disney stuff. We're going on a Disney cruise in December, and I'm like, okay, Lord, you better help me put my armor on, because there are things that I am not going to, I'm going to protect my daughter. I'm going to make her very aware, because what happens, a lot of the princess movies have a lot of that stuff. But we are going on this cruise, and believe me, I will be praying the whole time. So if your kid's got anxiety, if your kid's having nightmares, be aware of what they're watching. That plays a huge part. Again, don't buy the toys. Please don't let your kids dress up like that. And if you do, just be aware of it. This is your time. Like, if you're watching this going, oh man, I'm dressing my kid up in Demon Hunters, or I'm letting her dress up, you need to be vigilant. You need to learn. And I know there's some of you that think, oh, I'm a Christian, I'm letting my kids watch it because it educates them about demons. Good for you. Go do it. But you are not educating your kids about demons. We don't love demons. We love people, not the demon. We love people. The things that I've learned about this, you should go watch. What's his name? Isaiah? Is it Isaiah Sal? No, there is a thing called The Dark Truth Behind Netflix K-Pop Demon Hunters, and I can't remember who it is. I will post it. It's a YouTube video. I've had other moms ask me about it because he's so clear in like just a couple minutes about the reasons why you don't want to watch it. Also, if you're a parent that reads Plugged In, I go to Plugged In all the time to look at stuff. And it's a ministry of focus on family, which kind of blows me away, because when I went to it, I immediately thought they were going to say, this is not something you want to watch. And they were kind of they talk about the positive elements and the spiritual elements. And I'm like, they are completely avoiding what is with this show. So if that were me, I would put a big X on it saying, do not watch this show. So don't just rely on Plugged In as the information for everything you want to watch. Go and study your sources. So I'm not going to go much further in the demon. I am still learning myself. Now, how I came to this, what makes me human about this? I don't share all this because it's like, I'll figure it out. I know what all this means. No, I am learning. The Lord is revealing things to me time with the world. As the world gets darker, we are in spiritual war. I am all about raising up a generation who are warriors of Christ. I want to enable women to be the light for the next generation. And if we're going to be the light, we have to know the darkness. So I'm going to tell you a little bit parts of my story of how I came to this. And I hope that whatever age you are, or, wherever you're at in this, you see this is where I came from, and this is my real story. So like I said, I grew up doing Halloween. It was nothing weird. It was on, I grew up Catholic, so it was kind of part of All Saints Day, like, but not. In fact, when I started to come out of it, Halloween, like, and I would tell my mom, she'd be like, "That's weird. Why aren't you doing it?" And I didn't have to over explain myself because I was standing on my faith, but I did kind of need to be like, look, it is demonic. I cannot be a part of it. I will not engage in that. I will not let my daughter to be exposed to it. But when I was a kid, like many of you who are middle-aged moms, dressed up, and my mom made me dress up as a clown. I dressed up as a Christmas present, like all these very innocent costumes. And then at one point, I dressed up as Madonna, which now I know, like, whoa, no, should not have done that. But probably would have been Taylor Swift, the equal to Taylor Swift. But I also, like, I'm trying to think of anything of that weird occult stuff that I would have been a part of. And one of the things was, yeah, I remember doing a Ouija board at one of my friends' houses and like thinking George Washington was out the window picking a tree from the apple tree. Like, yeah, I would never let my daughter anywhere near it. But I do have to say, I think it's funny. Even going in like a pet store, you see like, oh, Ouija board toys. It's crazy. This stuff is everywhere. I continued to celebrate in high school, college, because it's what you do. I did not know. I did not have the discernment. I told you I struggled with horoscopes. I now see, like, I was so seeking a spiritual realm that was not God. And it's why they never gave me the answers because it was always God. I literally would be like, I'm going to meet the man of my dreams through this horoscope this week. When I was in college, I would like read it in the paper every week and like, this is going to be it. Not good. Um, I dabbled in new age stuff. I mentioned that when I was in early recovery, and the Lord, just as I grew closer to the Lord, He gave me discernment. Let me fast forward to when I became a mom. When I had Ellie, I've been saved for 9 years. I wasn't that aware of the demonic spiritual realm, but I was starting to become aware of it. And I started to realize I don't want Ellie to be impacted negatively. Like, I know there's stuff going on in the spiritual realm, and where do I need to be aware of it so I can protect my daughter? So in the beginning, we did like innocent costumes. She was an avocado, she was an elephant. We stood outside on our porch and handed out candy. And I started to think about it, not participating in Halloween, but I was afraid people would judge me. Never been there. And, you know, I Christian friends who grew up not doing it all, like, this is, and they're like, yeah, you just don't do it. But like, I've had like, I don't get it. Why do I not do it? Now I'm on. So, but I kept doing it. I wasn't ready yet. So I tried to dress Ellie in an innocent costume, like Baby Shark, Elsa from Frozen, a cowgirl, Liberty Patrol. It felt better, but we were still participating in Halloween. We were still participating in the evening, still giving out candy. So I leaned into the Lord and finally stopped. I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, but it was like, stop participating in darkness. I didn't want to anymore. 2 Corinthians 6:14 NIV says, I mean, I even thought that I was being kind by like, okay, being the light to people that come to the door, but I literally physically open my door and I allow that to come near my door. I don't want that coming anywhere near my door. 2 Corinthians 6:14, do not be yoked together with unbelievers, for what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? Or what fellowship can light have with darkness? I don't have to be participating in Halloween to love the lost, to be present to the broken, and to love someone who's struggling or someone who does not know the Lord. I don't need to fellowship with darkness and let it in my door. I can do something entirely different on this night. And when I do that thing, I can celebrate fall and the changing of the seasons and my family and make it a beautiful night. Have you heard that saying? Like, witches don't practice the resurrection. So why would I have to practice their holiday of Halloween? Yeah, no. So 2 years ago, I stopped decorating. I think it was maybe 3 years ago, I stopped decorating with Halloween. Removed jack-o'-lanterns, removed anything that said Happy Halloween. I still won't decorate with anything Halloween. It's fall. Again, fall is my favorite season, so I decorate with fall. My mother still, you're really not practicing it? I really can't. No, Mom, don't send me anything with a witch. Don't send me anything with this. So last year, we did this thing. We turned off the lights and went on a hike in the woods about 20 minutes away, and it was awesome. And ironically, the Lord gave me this. We kept kind of seeing all these roots, and it was so, you know, revealing because it's like we kept saying, "Don't trip. The roots are gonna come up, and you don't want to trip." And so it's funny. The Lord gave me. I'm gonna give if you want to learn more. I did do a little study on this that you go to my site and get, but I'm not. I won't go all into it now. But so this year, what are we doing this year? This year, our town is actually Halloween. There's a football game for our town's team on Friday night. So thankfully, my daughter has a class, and it's funny because it's like the night that it's not supposed to be, I had to change it to a different. And so I said to my husband, I was like, mm-hmm. He's like, yeah. So I'm going to take her out to dinner. I'm like, mm-hmm, because we don't need to be home, and I'm not going to be home because I'm going to be on a college campus trying to be in a Bible study with young women who want to seek the Lord. Anyway, but if it's on Friday night, I'm not sure what we're going to do. I would like to go on a hike, but I also heard it's going to rain, so I am not sure. But I'm going to seek the Lord up until that very moment and say, okay, where do you want us to go? What do you want us to do? But I want to enjoy the beauty of God's creation. It's kind of how I celebrate. Now it's like this thing of how I celebrate fall. I'm not afraid of the darkness, but I will not buy into it. And I will continue to learn about it as the Lord grows my heart. But I know some of you are going to read this and or watch this and already have Halloween planned out. Dude, I get it. That's where I was. Like when I started seeing some things, I'm like, oh, I'm kind of doing it. But just just maybe take this as a okay, I think I might need to do something different, or I need to learn more. I need to pray about the Lord revealing something to me. So maybe it'll make you think about participating it. It'll make you want to get more in the word. That's what you got to do. Listen to my whole podcast, but also I don't have the answer. I'm just trying to be like an additional guide to point you to the Lord. But you know, I also want to say one more thing, and what I've tried to do with Ellie, and I'm sure some of you who listen to this have better solutions to educate her on the reality of the darkness.